I think we can go home, actually. I think
the age
of Aquarius.
That's right. I'm old enough to
No,
whenever
we're in
people
the age
ask
of
me-
Aquarius.
When people would ask me, like, what sign are you? I would start to sing that song. Well, thanks for coming today.
I'm very honored to be here.
No.
I can't wait to get my chart read.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. It took a while for us to put this together, but welcome.
Don't do this, because now I want you to read my chart. Now I'm getting too comfortable. Welcome to Stars and Stars with Issa, the show where we look to the stars above with the stars below. I'm Issa Nakazawa, your host and resident astrologer. Today, we're revisiting one of my favorite episodes from season 1 with stand-up comedian Kamau Bell. Kamau is just finishing up his stand-up comedy tour called Who's With Me, where he explores the state of the world, American politics, and his own life as a father. These themes show up in much of his previous work, including the Emmy Award-winning CNN docuseries he hosted, United Shades of America, where he connects with communities across the country and across differences. In a time where we're all baited to exist in echo chambers, Kamau's commitment to listening and connecting to people across positions, identities, and lived experiences stands out. In our conversation, Kamau talks about how he creates meaningful dialogue by figuring out how to ask the right questions, a gift of his perceptive Scorpio moon. And his steadying and sensual Taurus rising sustains the perfect celestial symphony for this rebel comedian to shine. So without further ado, let's get to the episode. You are a Bay Area legend, to me at least, and to all of us who claim to be residents of the wonderful Bay Area. Kamau Bell, welcome to Stars and Stars.
I have to say, I've heard people call me a Bay Area legend before, but this is the first time I feel like, yeah, that's true.
Really? Why? Why is it just hitting you?
No, because I'm also feeling my age. I had a birthday recently, so there's a point at which people call you a legend, and it makes you feel like, I'm still in it. I'm not a legend.
I'm earning my keep.
Yeah, now I'm ready to be a retired legend, because after legend status is retired legend, so I'm ready to get to retired legend
Ooh,
status.
I like that aesthetic for you, retired legend.
Yeah,
that's going to be a good visual.
Yeah.
I also think for me, I say that because you have a commitment to the Bay, and whenever I see an interview of you, you're always wearing like an Oaklandish or Oakland shirt, and it just makes me feel proud, so I'm just grateful.
Thank you. I like feeling like I belong someplace, and I like feeling like places like that I belong there. So sometimes I feel like, am I wearing too many Oakland things? But then I feel like, no. They started a store for a reason, and I believe that T-shirts and sweatshirts can actually help tell the world what to do and where you're from and things. So
I actually do feel like we're going to get into your chart, but I feel like that's a very Aquarius sun thing. You're like, what do I believe in? It's right here. It's on me. Another exciting thing about today's show, for those who are listening, is that we're recording during Aquarius season. Kamau's an Aquarius sun, and today marks 6 planets in the current sky in Aquarius. So it really feels like a extra charged time to be reading for an Aquarius. So it's fun for me as a nerd.
Oh, that's funny. I feel extra charged, so maybe that's why it is. My wife's in the other room. She can tell you he definitely seems extra charged recently.
Yeah, well, you have a lot going on with the current transits in the sky, and I'm going to start sharing your big 3. Mm-hmm. You are a Taurus rising, Aquarius sun, and Scorpio moon. And Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, the goddess of love. And today, the day that we're recording, is the first day of the whole year where Venus is entering Aquarius.
Oh, nice. We're already so far more involved in the information I had. Aquarius is where it stopped. I'm sure it is for most people.
That's my opening question for you. Like, how would you kind of broadly describe your relationship to astrology?
My whole life, I've known I was an Aquarius. As a kid, I would read those books about astrology. Like we talked about earlier, I want to find out, where do I belong? Who's in charge here? What's going on? How do I explain myself to myself? And so whenever I would read descriptions of Aquarius, I would always be like, yeah, that sounds like me. Like, so whatever I believed it or not, it didn't sound generic enough that it was like, well, that could be anybody. It sort of sounded like, yeah, I sort of associate Aquarius with being like in their own heads all the time and sort of off to their own devices and stubborn is a part of it, I think. And so I definitely, as an only child, I'm always in my own head and off to my own thing and sort of like I'm sort of not anymore, but when I was young, I would just leave a party without saying goodbye because I was like, I'm done here.
Yeah.
And it became a thing that like people sort of knew me for. Like, where'd Kamau go? He must have just left. So I definitely like read a lot about it.
Well, the first thing that I noticed about your big three alone is that in astrology, one of my favorite things is that every sign has what's called a modality, which gives us a sense of what the sign is here to do and its motivation and how it operates. And all three of those signs are what's known as fixed. And fixed signs are the signs in between seasons. They're middling. So they are here to sustain and ground us. And Taurus is an earth sign. So it kind of doubles down on that energy of being here to provide stability. And the interesting thing about Taurus is that it's Venus ruled. So when you think of Taurus, think of like embodied pleasure in the terms of sensuality. So Taurus is notorious for being almost like the gardener figure that detoxifies. This is a metaphor, but detoxifying the soil to prepare for the harvest.
Oh, and that's my
rising sign. And your
okay.
rising sign is the long arc of your life. So sometimes people don't relate to the rising sign initially when they discover it, but then throughout their life, they feel like a ripening into those qualities. But it's also, in modern astrology, people kind of reduce it just down to the first impression, but there is truth to that. So I'm a Taurus rising as well, so it's obviously the best rising sign.
Of course.
And we are notorious for bringing a sense of presence and solidity to our relationships, even our work. Like when we walk into a room, there's, an interesting texture of also maybe coming across as stoic or self-possessed. But there is a level of presence that we create. So I think that Taurus risings do have that first impression of like, this person has their ish together.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you, like, is there a person in your life who considers you stubborn and fixed, or people in your life that also just associate you with being a stabilizing, grounding, and supporting force?
Yeah, it's funny. I think about my friend Hari Kondabolu, stand-up comedian. We had our podcast, Politically Reactive, still great friends. And I'm like 10 years older than him. And he always tells me about how he sort of looks to my life to sort of help understand what he should be doing. And so we've known each other now for more than 10 years. Like, I think we met in 2007, so it's seen me over an arc of time now. And he's like, you never stop. You're always creating work for yourself when nobody else has work for you. You're always working on 8 things, and that helps him sort of understand how he's supposed to do it. So yes, that he sees me as like this sort of like force and example of like how to be and how to sort of get through the times when they're not working for you.
Yeah, that's so well said. Sometimes I like thinking about literal manifestations of the stars, and I was thinking about so much of your work. One of the through lines, at least that I see, is there is an emphasis on storytelling around land back movements. You've also done in Finding Kamau, retracing your own lineage and thinking about how land holds memory. In classical astrology, Taurus stewards the land. We're kind of the masters of agriculture. And I was like, oh, that's so fascinating, because Kamau actually does have this commitment to storytelling about the importance of the land.
It's funny how people reflect my work back to me sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That is what I'm doing. But yeah, I think about every day, it is a part of my thought process that the land that I live on, I'm not supposed to be living here. This is not where I'm supposed to be. Now, how can I be responsible to this land and the people who are on this land while knowing that like this is not really supposed to be happening? While at the same time, you can't hold that with you all day long because maybe you don't get out of bed in the morning if that's the first thought you think. We did an episode about United Shades about how Native Hawaiians are basically like, stop touristing here.
Yeah.
Stop coming here and buying houses that you don't even really live in and raising the property values. It's already expensive enough here. And that episode keeps reverberating through time. There was the fires that happened, and people sort of were using my episode as an example of like, go watch this show to understand how we feel about this. It's sort of a recurring part of me sort of like reframing America for people over and over again. Like, you think you see it this way because that's what you were told, but this is a different framework for it based on people who have a longer investment or are more connected to this land than you are.
People are homeless in their own homeland.
A lot of Native Hawaiians can't even afford houses in Hawaii because people from the mainland are overpaying for the places they're living. When the Hawaii episode aired, I remember seeing people in the Bay after that who were like, I saw your episode about Hawaii. I have plane tickets to go. Should I not go?
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, I was like, that's on you. Like, I mean, even right now, like, I'm really fascinated with Black expats, Black people who move out of the country.
Yeah.
And to me, that's about like, I have to get off this land.
Yeah.
This land is toxic for me and has become toxic. So I need to go away. So I'm very fascinated with the idea of like Black people who've just like, you know what, America, it's not me, it's you.
But Also, there's like such a rich tradition of Black expats who also provide that line of solidarity. Like I'm thinking of how Baldwin would write about creating solidarity with Algerians in the context of being an expat and maneuvering the ways that he's seen his like brothers and sisters exploited by the colonial powers.
There's Josephine Baker, James Baldwin.
Josephine Baker.
Ta-Nehisi Coates did for a while.
Yeah.
There's any number of Black people, Black artists who are like, I've had enough. There's a lot of talk right now in the press about people's homelands. Black Americans don't really have a homeland. We can go back to Ghana, but they're not waiting for us. They will be happy to see us, but there's not a place for me to go.
Yes.
This is not about Ghana. This is about the fact that we've been so disconnected from our ancestral land that really, for Black people in this country, the homeland is the South.
Yes.
We are not where we're from. We are Black Americans now. So I don't want to move to the South.
This is where we enter your sun sign. So this is where the Aquarius sun wisdom comes in. So your sun is an Aquarius, which is ruled by the planet Uranus. Uranus is a wild...
I like that pronunciation. That's purposeful, right?
I think I'm saying it wrong.
No, I'm just saying, like, you know how it is. We're all 12. But anyway,
I think I'm the astrologer that says Uranus as like a psychological trick so I don't say Uranus.
I think you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
I shouldn't have called it out. I'm 12.
No, please call it out.
It's hard to have a serious conversation at that point.
So Uranus is the planet of unexpected, abrupt change. The metaphor of Uranus that always works in my mind is the free jazz improviser who learns the structure to subvert it. So the co-ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, which is Capricorn's ruler, and it is about mastery and structure. So it's fascinating and amazing to me that Aquarius operates within these two planets that are in contradiction with one another. And what does contradiction and tension create? Creativity, right? So that for me is the jazz player who knows exactly what it's doing, and it's breaking the structure by playing in between the notes. That's what blue notes are, right? So a lot of the qualities of Aquarius come through that metaphor.
This is a funny thing to say. I was just talking to my therapist about John Coltrane about an hour ago. He's the guy who's sort of known with being the know your scales, forget your scales. And I'm a huge John Coltrane fan of his whole career, which most people have eras. He basically was so committed to figuring out the sound that was in his head. By the end, he chased his audience away. There's a very, not famous recording, an infamous recording of him playing at Temple University. And it's so out by that point that apparently people were like angry, like, this is not what we came to hear. And he was like, this is what I need to do. And so for me, if I'm always operating in the space of like, I need to be prepared, but not so prepared I can't be creative.
Absolutely.
I would always frustrate producers in the United Shades. They'd be like, okay, we're going to go this way, big, but look over there.
Well, that's one thing Aquarians will do. They're going to frustrate you.
Yeah.
Because again, remember, Aquarians are fixed.
That frustrates a lot of producers. Like, I know you're saying we're going this way, but look over there. Isn't that interesting?
Over here.
But I mean, are you telling me that's not interesting over there?
What's your kind of relationship to Aquarius suns have a deep experience of straddling multiple identities, feeling a little bit like they're outsiders?
Well, if America hadn't decided to create a racial caste system through which I have to define myself as Black and a Black man, otherwise I'm not going to survive the day. If I don't sort of recognize that every place I go, I'm a Black man. Proud of being a Black man, not saying that, but you have to sort of know it for survival reasons. I would think of myself as an only child. That's the thing that, like, when I close my eyes and feel myself, I'm an only child. My instinct is to sort of like dance to the beat of my own drum, as my mom would always say. She's like, that's what you're doing. You're just always sort of doing your own thing. And I have friends. I like hanging out with people, but I don't need people to keep me entertained.
Right.
Like, I can be in a room by myself, but even when I was a kid, and just be fine. Like,
I mean, you're just defining being an Aquarius sun so perfect.
Yeah,
like, you're the astrologer.
I don't need, I like people, but I don't need. It took me a long time to figure out how to like schmooze in show business because it's just not my natural state.
But here's the interesting nuance to me. So Aquarius is uncomfortable in the sun. Why? Because the sun is interested in self-concept and self-identity, but Aquarius rules community, the commons, and the collective. So oftentimes Aquarius suns are more interested in advocating for the we. I've always found it this like beautiful conundrum with Aquarians that they're the only child archetype, but yet they need to advocate on behalf of the people. And they are the activist sign. And I love showing people examples, but Angela Davis is Taurus rising, Aquarius
We have the
sun.
same birthday. It's not the year, but the date.
And I think of both of you because you sit at the intersection of so many communities. there's a loneliness to it.
Yeah. So first of all, yes, I'm exactly like Angela Davis. I just want to make sure I'm quoting you correctly. Me and Angela Davis, exactly the same. Just want to make sure that when we put the podcast up, that's the quote that you said that I can put in my bio. There's no daylight between Angela Davis, her life and career, FBI's most wanted
and
list,
her impact.
Persecuted by the United States government, incredible activist, committed to the most radical love, political issues, and also lives in the Bay, and a comedian and television host. No, there's no daylight. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic for anybody who wants to
He
do
is
that.
not.
But, I'm not. I got to do an event with Angela Davis recently at the Oakland Symphony Museum. Angela Davis submits music that she has always inspired her. She's enjoyed in her life. They get the Oakland Symphony and a bunch of other musicians to collaborate and play an evening of music for her. I got to host it with her, so sit on stage next to Angela Davis.
Wow.
We'd never met before.
What was that like?
First, she walks up to me, she goes, I feel like I already know you. And I was just like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. I mean, it's Angela Davis. And she knows my work, shades. I mean, that's the great thing about being on CNN is that people will stumble across you at some point. So we had a great time. I made her laugh several times. It was one of the greatest. Yeah, and it was overwhelming for me that she saw something in me that she related to. I feel like somebody like Angela Davis is like, I've seen your work, not a fan. I would still love and respect you, Angela Davis. Or if like, I've seen your work, yeah, I see what you're trying to do. I don't take it. You're clearly not that serious about it. I would understand because But the fact that she related to it in some way, we got to hang out together. So having said that, I say that we're the same because our resumes look very different.
Of course.
But I would say that there is a thing that I've learned from watching someone like Angela Davis. I think maybe this is what I'm saying. Being Black in America and being an Aquarius seem to go very well together.
Yeah. I think you're onto something.
Because we have to, as Black people, you have to have two jobs. You have to have like your day job that pays you the money so you can exist in this capitalistic hellhole. And if you have the way to uplift your community, you have to uplift your community at the same time. You're not allowed to not.
Wow.
I mean, you can not, but then you're the person that they go, how come that guy's so successful and he's not doing anything to help anybody else?
Right.
We wouldn't have survived this long in this country, Black people, unless a significant percentage of us weren't always doing those two jobs. How can I turn this job into something that helps my community? It's not like you have to wait till you get to a certain level. Once I'm a billionaire, I'll start to help my community. And so I don't have the billions of dollars to do it, but I have to figure out how to, especially right now that I'm a legend, how can I keep this door open, but also wave people through while I have this level of privilege I have?
We'll be back with more from W. Kamau Bell on Stars and Stars with Issa. Let's take a break to thank the sponsor of today's episode, State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Here at Stars and Stars, we're all about learning what the planets can reveal about life's purpose and why we love, create, and walk the world the way we do. And stars. Because you know what your birth chart means? Well, I can handle that for your favorite artists. But when it comes to you, your friends, your family, or your neighbors, there's one thing you shouldn't forget. Your State Farm agent. Because they're there when you need them. Like when you need help filing a claim, they're there to help. Or when you want help choosing between coverage options, they're there to help too. So yeah, your horoscope for today might be good. It might even be amazing. But getting the help you need from your agent, that's even better. And you can get that with State Farm. Because like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This is W. Kamau Bell, and you're listening to Stars and Stars with Issa.
I want to talk about your house placement of your sun, which is in the 10th house, which is Saturn ruled and associated with Capricorn. And the 10th house is a public house, but it's our public roles, recognition, and it's public in the sense of, sure, it represents purpose, but it represents what we're known for, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes there's a purpose that's more introverted. It's more like internal and intimate. The 10th house rules what we're known for. Mm-hmm. So when you have your sun in the 10th, there is like a shining that comes through your career, which I think is very on the nose for you. But how you read it in astrology is like, what is the sign? So it's Aquarius. So this is where it gets interesting again, because you're actually bringing this innovation and kind of reformist energy to 10th house things. And when I think of United Shades of America, I'm like, what is the secret sauce to getting these major networks behind the shows that you do? Because one of the things that I like about your work is that you're not keeping it super safe all the time. And so how are you kind of finessing that? How do you get people on board for things like United Shades, where you're having these conversations and you're using any spotlight that you have to confront issues that in the United States we avoid?
If you look at the first episode of United Shades, which was me meeting the KKK and sort of infamously, and then you look at like one of the last episodes of United Shades, which was like the land back movement.
Right. South Dakota.
That's a different guy. But it's a guy who's like over the last 7 seasons is like, I understand the assignment now. So the show was not my idea. It was already existed as a pilot that CNN was going to make. I was brought in as a host.
Got it.
Then once I realized that I was the host of this show, it became my second job. My first job is to keep the show on the air as long as possible so my family can eat. But my second job is to make this show do as much as it can in the time allotted. So, for example, in the earlier seasons, a lot of the ideas were pretty broad. Like Kamau goes and hangs out with the biker gang. Like literally, that was an episode we were about to film, and then the biker gang threatened to beat us up, so we didn't do it.
Okay.
Instead of doing that, we went to San Quentin. And San Quentin is one of those episodes where it's like, I was changed in the making of that show. And I was like, this is the kind of show I want to make, but I got to make sure that it stays on the air. Every episode, there's like, watch Kamau fall down. How do I keep it broad enough that this audience keeps being interested, but also specific enough that it's actually doing something? Because you can do like a 75-minute episode of television on CNN that is just about to defund the police.
Right.
And then it becomes like, I need to be able to walk around Oakland after this airs.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of this that is like,
I feel that.
not because I need that as a star, I need it as a human.
Yes.
I want my community to think I'm doing good work. And sometimes that means doing work that you know that some people in the community aren't going to like, but there's something in me that says, this is work that I need to do.
There's a couple placements in astrology where we look to understand the relationship to the father. And the sun is one of them.
Okay. Do you mean my literal dad? Or
Yes.
you just mean, okay, all right.
The capital F father.
Okay. I know. Or God or Jesus.
So now we're talking about Jesus.
Yeah,
That would be
just wanna
such a
make sure,
U-turn.
yeah.
So from what I understand from the little that I know about your father, he does have Capricorn traits in terms of being someone who is very committed to finding ways to support and mentor people through structures that exist, right? So again, Saturn is structures, institutions, tradition. How has your relationship to him shaped the way that you approach your own career?
Not trying to be that guy. But last night I was given an award by the Lawyers Committee of San Francisco, like a civil rights lawyers organization.
Wow.
And I was taking pictures of like the things that said I was getting the award and sending them to my dad as a way to go, look, Dad, like, these people gave me an award. Like in some sense, I think that award made me more to him than the Emmy Award because it means that people who are doing good work in the community think I'm worthy of an award. And I think it's really important for my dad. First of all, he wants me to be a billionaire, but if I'm just a billionaire who like lives in a nice house and isn't helping the community, then he doesn't want that. He doesn't want that. So I think at some point, my dad actually said, well, what are you doing in your community? Like, and I was just like, I'm just trying to get up at the punchline on Sunday night, you know? And so that's always been in the back of my mind. My dad likes the fact that I'm successful because I can support my family.
Okay.
And likes the fact that I'm respected in the community. Like the ACLU puts me in a commercial.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
I love the specific.
The ACLU thinks my son needs to be in their commercial, that he's helping them do their thing. So the older I get, the better relationship I have with my dad because I think he relates to an adult middle-aged man who's stressed out about a mortgage. He's like,
oh my God, this is so,
those are my people.
So
like, you know what I mean? Like,
love the specific.
I had this conversation. I'm Gen X, proudly Gen X. And there was a lot more talk when I was growing up about what selling out was.
I guess that has changed, you're right.
It has changed. Now, yeah, selling out is now securing the bag.
Wow, that's true. Because I'm still thinking it's a sellout.
You could not have been a rapper in the 80s or early 90s and been on a McDonald's commercial and had credibility. Now rappers literally go, with my new album, go get my new meal from McDonald's. And everyone's like, good for you for having a meal at McDonald's.
I know.
You've really secured the bag. And I'm not judging. I'm saying it's just very different from when I was a kid. It's like a different.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I'm a millennial, but still, like, I have that voice in my head.
You're an elder millennial. So
I'm an elder.
You have a Gen X rising, is what I would say.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to your moon. And so you're Angela Davis and you're also Bob Marley.
Bob Marley?
So Bob Marley has Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon.
Oh, I am exactly like Bob Marley.
Yeah, so I just wanted you to know that you have to make another announcement.
Oh my gosh.
Who else you're like.
It seems okay.
But so Scorpio is a water sign. It's ruled by Mars and Pluto. And Mars and Pluto are both planets that deal with regeneration and transformation. And I think your openness to say, the first episode to the last, I was a different change person. I like to think of the sun as the conscious ego and the moon as the unconscious feeling nature. So it's unconscious energy, but I think Scorpio moons really need a level of transformation in their experience to create meaning. Mm-hmm. So a Scorpio moon, even though it's fixed, it's a fixed water sign, is more likely to feel emotionally connected to experiences that require a transformation. It's the opposite sign of Taurus. Mm-hmm. Taurus is uncomfortable with a lot of change. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually curious about that for you because from the outside looking in, I'm like, wow, this is a person who has taken a lot of meaningful risk. Mm-hmm. And Taurus risings can often be at this crossroads often between what is stuckness and stagnation and what is stability and grounding. But from the outside, you look like someone who doesn't really struggle with that. So I'm kind of curious, like, how do you balance your ability to take risks, which to me is more the Scorpio, and the Taurus, which wants security?
Let's bring my wife in. I think she would probably answer this question better. Because I'm
genuinely curious.
I think my whole thing is like, it's the whole idea about the duck on the top of the water. The duck looks calm, and under the water, it's like, ah!
Yeah, that's Taurus rising, Scorpio moon, straight up.
That's exactly what's happening. Right now, I'm here with you. I am present, 1,000%. And I'm also like, there's a bunch of explosions going off about different things that are happening in my life or in my career. There is a sense of of a bubbling, roiling, sort of like constant thing happening on the inside. I think a lot of this, again, being Black in America and being a celebrity, it is better if I move through the world calmly than if I move through the world taking up a lot of space. Like, for example, people say to me all the time, people who've known me for years will not see me for a few months and then go meet me again and go, I forgot how tall you are.
Oh, God.
I don't carry myself like a 6'4" person.
Right.
I am 6'4", but I'm not lording over you because that's not going to help me through this world. There's always a sense of like multiple things being true at once with me.
Yeah, I love that. An interesting thing I've observed about Scorpio moons is that, again, it's kind of this intimate, unconscious placement that deals more with our emotional needs. And those can often be hidden even from ourselves. And Scorpio sometimes fears its own desire nature and its own level of intensity. And so weirdly, a lot of Scorpio placements, moons and suns, can come off almost passive. And then there's things that happen in our lives, parenthood, death, like these deeper experiences where what you're saying cracks open regardless of our ability to normally put the mask on. Can you talk to me about like whether it's becoming a parent or something in your life that cracked you open a little bit? How did that contribute to getting more in touch with your vulnerability or with your ability to feel on a deep level?
We moved to New York to do my first TV show, Totally Biased. We went from living in this apartment in San Francisco that I'd lived in for over 10 years, and my daughter was born down the street from. We moved to like a basement apartment in Brooklyn, New York.
Wow.
And I was working like 15 hours a day at this new talk show, Totally Biased. And about a year and a half later, the whole thing was canceled. And so this thing that I thought was like, oh, I'm going to have this job for 20 years. It's like a talk show job. Those jobs last forever. And it was really like a time of like, what the do I do now?
Wow.
What do we do? How do we make this work? And I just went on the road and did like every college gig that would take me. Gigs where you like fly 3 planes to get there, then you get in a van, then you drive for 2 hours to get to the college gig, and then it's a room that holds 500 people, but there's 30 people in there, 15 of which booked the gig.
The hustle.
And you're like, hi, thanks for having me. But it's just because this is the only way I can feed my family.
Wow.
And so it was a real like gut check and like, who are you and what are you made of? After about another year in New York, it was like Melissa got pregnant with our second daughter, and it was like, we need to move back to the Bay. And that's right when I got United Shades. It's like a year and a half of like, who knows what happened.
And that was actually one of the questions I had for your Venus placement, because when Venus is in Capricorn, it creates this interesting dynamic where Capricorns rule winter, deep winter. They're a cardinal sign. They rule austerity. Like for winter, what do we need to do? Careful, considered planning, right? So when I think of Capricorns, I think of people who have a tremendous capacity to deny themselves pleasure.
I love pleasure. I love sloth. Sloth is my favorite of the 7 deadly sins. I would totally indulge in sloth if I didn't have 3 kids and feel responsible to the world.
So Taurus.
I'm so like sloth. Oh, there's not enough sloth happening. But I have I have too many children and too many responsibilities to just do that. So I put that aside, and I hope that one day I can get back to sloth. But in the meantime, I probably could deal in a little more sloth than I currently have going on.
Exactly. And the cunning thing I will say about a lot of 10th house and Capricorn energy is that it's so smart, that it's always going to find a way to rationalize against its own pleasure. So like you said, I feel responsible to the world, therefore I'll deny myself the thing I really want to do. And in this case, it's, being a sloth.
This is so funny because literally yesterday I went to have my yearly doctor's appointment checkup. See, I'm having the same
Look at you,
conversation.
You're getting cosmic checkups.
I'm trying to get it, and then I was at therapy this morning, and now I'm here. I feel like I'm hearing a lot of the same conversations.
At least you're not hearing too many mixed messages. That would be confusing.
That's the frustrating thing. I wish there were more mixed messages so I could call bullshit on some of you, but I cannot.
When I look at your chart, there is someone who has this gift asking the bigger questions that maybe don't have answers in your lifetime. It's just this spiritual wonderment.
Yeah, I think that sometimes I'm just forget the answer. I'm trying to figure out the question. What is the
that's your chart.
What is the right way to ask the question so then we can actually get to a good productive conversation to get to the answer? Because if you don't ask the right question, the rest of it goes and that's what so much of the news is people not asking the right questions.
What's fascinating to me is all your Capricorn planets are in the 9th house. And Sagittarius, or the 9th house, which is associated with Sagittarius, is also not interested in just being responsible and just being accountable. It's the reason astrologers basically said the 9th house presides over long distance travel in the modern context is because they understood experiences of transcending difference as the place where we grow and expand. But it doesn't have to require literal travel. It can be cosmic teleportation. And I think in the US, we're so encouraged to think about solidarity only about representation. And I honestly find representation nauseating. I think it's important. And I am a mixed kid who grew up with none. I can see my image in people who don't look like me. Yeah. And I think that's part of the superpower of mixed kids. Is actually our lack of access to representation made us find creative ways to feel representation through others.
I don't think it's an accident that my two favorite, I would love superheroes as a kid, but my two favorite superheroes were the Hulk and Spider-Man. The Hulk was green, nobody's green, and Spider-Man is completely covered. So it could be a black kid.
Right.
And then eventually it was a black kid. When you don't have representation, you find it. But I think representation, as often, things that are helpful become looked at as the cure-all. Representation is a part of the discussion. We get caught up in repeating the same thing over and over again. And then at some point, it's you're stuck.
Right.
And so what is the next level?
But how has that played out for you in terms of understanding yourself through exploring people that don't move in the world in the same body?
I think the most valuable thing that has happened in my life that I didn't control is that I moved around a lot as a kid. So I was always very aware that America was different depending upon where you were standing.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then as a comedian, now you're traveling around as a comedian. So I have played Winners Casino in Winnemucca, Nevada.
Wow.
And that is not any place I'd ever been to before. Or I played Battle Mountain, Nevada. So I was always very aware that the country is bigger and more diverse than you think it is.
Right.
My perspective is just one of many perspectives.
Yeah.
And that the more you shut up and listen, the more you can sort of take in some new perspectives. You become less freaked out about the other if you see the other regularly.
Yes.
And then you start to not see them as the other. You see them as just people who live in your community. Who are the people in my neighborhood? And that's the thing. I was trying it with United Shades. I'm trying to take you to other people's neighborhoods so you understand that your version of America is not the by-all, end-all, complete version of America.
To the roiling point, you're a celestial favorite right now. There's a lot going on. So that all to say that can create anxiety is more what I mean.
I need to get you, my therapist, and my doctor, and you all can just figure it out. Because I feel like I'm hearing the same thing. That's my next podcast. My astrologer, my doctor, and my therapist. That would be a good conversation. It's my podcast called Y'all Figure It Out.
But let me be the first one to say, for Taurus risings right now, Jupiter, the planet of luck, is transiting our first house. And the first house represents the self, the body. But when Jupiter comes into the first house, it brings luck and expansion and opportunity into your life in a very, very real way. There is just a level of why are there so many things happening to me right now? And that's where I mean the anxiety. There just can be overwhelm when you're in a period of avalanche. And another reason that's happening is because Aquarius is the main character in terms of the sky right now, and it lights up our 10th house of public roles, recognition, and reputation.
Wow.
And it just started a 16, 18-year story that will unfold very slowly for us. And it will be a challenging one, I'm not going to lie, because the planet Pluto destroys everything that's not authentic. So your career might go through some serious change and transformation, but it's going to be slow. It's going to take place over 2 decades. But you're going to see Taurus risings take center stage. Like, this sounds funny, but Megan Thee Stallion is a Taurus rising is in a moment, and then immediately Nicki Minaj, right?
Ooh, that's thanks for putting it in a way I can understand. Now I understand what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I'm
all right. I am Angela Davis. I am Bob Marley. I am Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah, that's fair enough. It all makes sense now.
Thank you so much, Kamau. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. That was W. Kamau Bell, who is an Aquarius sun. As always, to end the show, I want to leave you with some takeaways that we can all benefit from, inspired by our stars chart. In today's episode, we discovered that Kamau's Aquarius sun shines in the 10th house of social status, public roles, and reputation, which is associated with the sign Capricorn. Whereas the sign of Kamau's sun tells us how he shines. For example, his Aquarius sun indicates he's a free-spirited humanitarian. The house placement of his sun shows us where he shines. So his self-identity and purpose expresses itself through his 10th house of public roles and career. In astrology, there are many different house systems. On this show, we use the whole sign house system, which is known as the original and oldest form of house division. But I want to stress that every house system is valid. And I even encourage you to calculate your birth chart using different house systems and just see which one resonates with you. Next week on Stars and Stars with Issa, we speak to writer, poet, and clinical psychologist Hala Alian.
You can't hunt people down and be like, I need you to take account of this and this and that. That's not how the world works. I think more than anything, I really struggle with the idea that that's not everybody's journey, or that it's not of equal importance to everybody to do the account taking.
Hear how this triple fire sign harnesses her intensity and power through discipline and routine. That's next week on Stars and Stars with Issa. This episode was produced by Ginny Montalvo and Tasha Sandoval and edited by Maria Garcia. It was mixed by Gabriela Baez. It was recorded at Skyline Studios in Oakland, California. Stars and Stars with Issa is produced by Futuro Studios in collaboration with SiriusXM Podcasts. Our lead producer is Noor Saudi. Our editor is Maria Garcia. Our production manager is Jessica Ellis. Video editing and mixing by Deanna Chapman and Multitude Productions. Our original music is by Sandra Lawson Indu. Our executive producers are Marlon Bishop and Maria Garcia. Original show concept also by Maria Garcia. Futuro Media was founded by Maria Hinojosa. If you like our show, please don't forget to rate and review. It really helps us. You can follow us anywhere you get your podcasts and also online at Stars and Stars with Issa on IG and TikTok. And now we're even on YouTube. You can catch full episodes on Futuro Media's channel and tune in live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. I'm Issa Nakazawa. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. This episode of Stars and Stars is presented by State Farm. Remember, your State Farm agent is there to help with your insurance needs at any point in your astrological journey. Whether your Saturn is returning and you want to prepare, your State Farm agent can help you choose between coverage options. When something comes up, and even though your horoscope warned you, your State Farm agent can help you file your claim. Your State Farm agent will get you the insurance help you need. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.